Good morning. It is January 19th and it's almost 8 o'clock, and today's probably my favorite day. It's farm work day. In the morning they'll divide up the chores and then we'll go and do it, and then in the evening or the afternoon we will either go to seed bank or propagation. So it's also 46 degrees. It's really chilly here. Not most Floridians are not used to this, and I'm starting to get not used to it. I know when I go back to Indiana it'll be like in the teens, but it's fine.
Hi everyone, I'm Melissa Hall. I'm the propagation manager here at Echo, and we are doing some grafting today, specifically of avocados. So grafting is taking two different plant tissues. This is our rootstock here, and this has certain qualities that we like. For this instance, it has more cold tolerance, and then we have a piece of budwood from an already fruiting established tree. So when we're going to graft, we want to specifically cleft graft. We want to match up the diameters. So I'm feeling here and I see that these are pretty similar. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off the top of my avocado, and I'm going to look from the top and try and match those diameters. So if I make a cut this way, I can match those diameters a little bit better. So my cleft is going to, so you can see I've made a cleft cut like that, and I'm also going to make a matching wedge cut. Let me just trim this piece a little. Alright, this isn't my greatest wedge I've ever made, but you can see it comes to a pretty fine point. And actually I'm going to just trim this a little bit more. And then I'm going to insert it into this wedge that we made. So you can see it's gonna stick in there, and I have that a little shallower than the wedge, but that's okay. And then I'm going to very gracefully wrap this rubber band. Actually, for this one, I think I may just parachute. So why you would graft is you expedite the fruiting process. So because we took from an already fruiting established tree, we can get fruit a lot more quickly. And there's also be other qualities that we like from our piece of budwood, that plant material. And some fruits don't come true to type, so an avocado is one of those. So if you plant an avocado seed and let it grow up, you won't get the same fruit. And so if you graft, you ensure that you know what variety you're going to get. So that's grafting.
Good evening, guys. So today in the morning I started off farm work, and I went this time to collect fruit for farmers market, which they have a farmers market here at the Echo Florida location. And it's basically, like a normal farm. You go around collecting fruit, cutting it all down. One important thing is that the fruit cannot touch the ground. If it touches the ground, it is not able to be sold for human consumption. So myself and another volunteer, we went and collected papayas, star fruit, tomatoes, And we collected a couple other fruits, and we're just making sure that they're ripe. One thing one of the volunteers did show me is like for papaya, if you lightly nick it with a knife on the edge or on the skin, and the juice comes back a clear color, then it's ripe. But if it's a little bit cloudy or white, then it's not ready to be picked. So that's pretty interesting. And then after that, in the evening, I went to propagation. In the afternoon, I went to propagation. We planted about 54 grapes, and we had 3 different varieties. And it was just really interesting because the type of soil material they have, you have to like punch down. So my hand looks like this. Punch down the soil and make sure it's all like compact. And we did that for a while, and just getting to learn other volunteers that were there because some of the interns aren't feeling so good, so they're staying quarantined, and so a lot more volunteers, you know, stepped up to this job. Which, speaking of, during lunch there was a brown bag lunch, which everybody brings their own lunch, but it was also to commemorate the volunteers that have been here, so like nomads and volunteers that have served for several years, and also just to recap, you know, all the work that has been done in 2021 and what work will be done in 2022. And then I went with Melissa, who's a propagation manager. She's also a former intern. And then I went with Grace, who's a monsoon intern. And we learned how to graft, which is a pretty important skill to learn. And it's kind of a hard technique. I definitely was like, if I had practiced this more, it would have been better. But we took avocado, the rootstock from avocados, we cut them, and then I'll show you, Melissa does a better job of explaining the technique, but I learned about, she used some words like we're cutting the vascular cambium, which I learned in botany, separating the xylem and phloem, and then you're sticking in this other, it's a lot of like, you're mixing one plant type with another so that you can get the best genes. So what we basically did was like slice it down the middle, and then we took another one and we made a like V-shaped, but she'll show it, structure. We made sure it was cut like that, and then we put it in there and then parafilmed it, just to make sure no air or water or moisture gets in. But basically that's how I ended my day, learning a very important skill. It's a very hard technique, but I had fun, and I also upgraded. I was so excited. Everybody around here has like clippers on their belt, and I got to borrow one just for a couple hours, and I felt like I have made it here. I have some pictures, but I'll show you guys later. And tomorrow morning I am going with Ashley, who is the urban garden intern, and yeah, very excited for what tomorrow holds.